Although some scholars still debate about the reasons for Christopher Columbus's journey to the New World, with ideas such as to spread Christianity, find gold, or to prove that the projected size of the globe was accurate, the true causes were far more complex. On May 29th, 1453, the Byzantine Empire collapsed when it was taken over by the Ottoman Turks under the rule of Sultan Mehmed. As one eyewitness recalled, they thought it was the worst thing to happen and will always be. Everyone was scared. It was a total massacre. In houses and church, many people were killed. The soldiers didn't give any mercy, and the Turks committed terrible war crimes such as genocide. They killed citizens, tortured and killed the innocent, melted everything of slight value. They pillaged, they abused women and children, took captives, and destroyed buildings. Everything was completely ransacked. Mehmed, who was the Sultan, didn't like what happened, but he couldn't undo the past. And people can no longer trade because you can't exactly trade with a pile of ashes. There was a large economic impact because of this. One of these was that it was the final step on the Silk Road, and important things from Asia that people wanted but couldn't get led to a higher demand, and because Italy still remained part of the Silk Road, they were the sole people where you could get spices from. Spain still wanted goods, and Portugal had already found a way through Africa. In the couple of decades after 1453, Europe fell into what we might today call a recession, says Sean Munger. Asian goods weren't reaching markets in Europe, where in some places, such as Italy, demand was still growing and not shrinking. The second major part of his journey was the development of the caravel in 1451. New ship technology made transatlantic voyages both physically possible and safe. Because there was not as much effect of the Black Death in Portugal, they became more advanced with their technology. They also had better maritime, new ships had better maritime warfare, more and better sails, hulls, and so on and so forth. They were unique because they could be out in Portugal's shallow water. Caravels opened the door for trade with Africa and India, says Kendall Haven. The Nina and Pinta were both caravels, and they both held about 15 people in poor living conditions with little privacy. However, a menu on a caravel for a normal sailor included a pound and a half of biscuits, water, wine, fava beans, chickpeas, rice, oil, and salt meat or pork and or cheese. Sailors had 3 meals a day, and the meals were usually more readily available than when the sailors were on dry land. So, how was this possible that they had poor living conditions but much food? One of the primary reasons was the success of Spain's Reconquista in 1492. Spain was originally invaded by 711 by Muslims and remained under Islamic occupation for over 7 centuries. They finally kicked them out in 1492. Ferdinand II and Isabella I allied and were united and were powerful with both their political power and armies. For the first time in centuries, Spain was finally reconquered and reunited. When there was a break in fighting, there were finally enough resources. And after the end of the war had concluded, Ferdinand and Isabella resolved to send me, Christopher Columbus, to India, says Columbus. Columbus himself said that one of the reasons for his going to the New World was that the war had ended. And Isabella originally did not approve the journey. She was disposed to change her mind, says Alistair Cook. For one, the 700-year-old war with the Moors, the former occupants, had at last come to an end. Because Columbus had incessantly asked about going, he finally asked at the right time. When he left, he went from the city of Granada on the 12th of May 1492 and proceeded to Palos, which is a seaport. There he armed himself with 3 vessels and which were provided with many stores and seamen. He set sail from port Friday, August 3rd, half an hour before sunrise, and steered for the Canary Islands. Thank you.